Today in United States, politics is defined by a convergence of tensions, controversies, and strategic positioning as the country heads into a critical midpoint between presidential cycles. At the center of unfolding events is President Donald Trump in the aftermath of his recent State of the Union address, a speech that has sparked deep partisan reactions and reignited national debates around immigration, the economy, foreign policy, and the approaching 2026 midterm elections. The State of the Union, delivered on February 24, 2026, was historically long, the longest in American history. The State of the Union, delivered on February 24, 2026, was historically long, the longest in American history, while attempting to reset the political conversation amid plunging approval ratings. Public opinion in the United States remains deeply divided. A majority of adults believe the country is moving in the wrong direction and feel less satisfied with democratic institutions. Polls conducted in late January and early February showed that only a minority of Americans expressed confidence in the direction of the nation under Trump's leadership, reflecting widespread concerns about governance and democratic checks and balances, while Republicans generally report stronger support within their base. Even within that group, there have been modest declines in confidence regarding Trump's mental fitness and ethical behavior, marking a shift in public perception compared to his first term in office. President Trump's strategy was to showcase robust economic performance. He highlighted reports of inflation curbing, stock market gains, business growth, and lower drug prices as evidence of a golden age. Trump framed economic progress as the foremost element of his legacy and a cornerstone of Republican messaging. Despite these claims, widespread concerns about wage stagnation, healthcare costs, and the rising cost of living persist. Republican confidence that economic optimism can carry them through contentious electoral battles is far from unanimous. However, the speech also focused on issues that have become deeply polarizing. Immigration remains among the most contentious. During the address, Trump called on lawmakers to prioritize American citizens over undocumented immigrants, a line that drew applause from Republicans but prompted controversy and criticism from Democrats who chose not to stand. This moment quickly became fodder for political strategists on both sides, with GOP operatives viewing it as a rallying point. Democrats interpreting it as an example of performative politics that fails to address deeper policy concerns. The reaction to the speech and the broader debate on immigration illustrate the deep polarization. Some legislators have pushed for reforms. A high-profile example is the Save America Act, a bill that would impose strict proof of citizenship requirements for voting. This bill managed to pass the House but has since stalled in the Senate amid significant debate over voter disenfranchisement. Critics, including many Democrats and voting rights advocates, warn that such measures could disproportionately affect vulnerable communities. Simultaneously, a dramatic political flashpoint has emerged involving Representative Rashida Tlaib during the State of the Union address. Tlaib's conduct sparked fierce outrage, leading to broad calls, particularly from Republicans, for censure or formal reprimand. President Trump himself responded via social media with sharp personal attacks, amplifying the partisan temperature. Tlaib's actions and the ensuing backlash have become emblematic of the broader cultural and political conflicts shaping national debate. Foreign policy remains another major front on which domestic politics intersects with international tensions. The United States and Iran are currently engaged in critical negotiations amid rising concerns over Iran's nuclear program. Talks in Geneva focus on enrichment rights and flexibility on missile restrictions, positions that diverge from Washington's demands. The Trump administration has both bolstered military presence in the Middle East and maintained prevention of nuclear weapons. This pressure has prompted a legislative response. House Democratic leaders plan to force a vote on a war powers resolution, aimed at restricting the president's ability to unilaterally authorize military conflict without explicit congressional authorization. This effort is rooted in constitutional principles, signaling mounting tension between the executive and legislative branches. The Supreme Court has also emerged as a consequential arena of conflict. A recent landmark ruling invalidated Trump's tariff regime, declaring executive actions, setting broad import taxes, unlawful, unleashing a flood of legal challenges from hundreds of companies. Seeking refunds that could total billions, the ruling is seen as a major judicial check on presidential authority and economic strategy. Trump responded by denouncing the justices and reportedly imposing new tariffs under an alternative legal framework. The political environment is further complicated by an undercurrent of activism that pushes the boundaries of conventional debate. Reports surfaced that MAGA activists drafted a proposed executive order targeting broad control over election administration. These proposals, which include bans on mail-in ballots and voting machines, reflect radical energy in certain political circles. Critics warn that such proposals could undermine state sovereignty over elections and threaten the constitutional framework. All of these developments occur against a backdrop of strategic positioning for the 2026 midterm elections. Republicans hold a narrow majority in the House and seek to maintain control, while Democrats aim to capitalize on public dissatisfaction. Polling data has shown that public disapproval of Trump's handling of key issues like the economy and inflation remains high. These dynamics are shaping legislative strategies, campaign messaging, and intra-party negotiations. Complicating matters, redistricting efforts across the country are influencing electoral prospects for both parties. State legislatures and advocacy groups are engaged in debates over redrawing congressional districts. Efforts to engineer favorable boundaries are deeply contentious, as they can alter the balance of power in the House. Both Republican and Democratic strategists are maneuvering to shape district lines in ways that bolster their chances of control. In addition to electoral strategy, public protest movements and civic discontent continue to shape the national atmosphere. Protests in early 2026 against immigration enforcement and ICE policies attracted national attention. Underscoring widespread frustration, these demonstrations reflect enduring tensions around immigration policy and civil liberties. American politics in early 2026 exists at the intersection of ideological polarization, institutional conflict, and electoral strategy. The interplay between presidential leadership, congressional oversight, judicial review, and public opinion is defining the ecosystem. These dynamics are likely to influence not only the legislative agenda, but also the broader social fabric. As the nation approaches critical elections and grapples with questions about governance, accountability, and democratic legitimacy, the nation approaches a pivotal moment in its political history where dispute and dissent meet the search for accountability. The search for accountability and democratic legitimacy remains the central challenge for the American political system. Today's political ecosystem is a testament to the enduring complexity of the American democratic experiment. Reporting from the nation's capital, this concludes our in-depth look at the convergence of tensions and the path toward the 2026 midterm elections. Thank you for watching.